What up, Naughty Steppers? Connor Whitmore here again with another review for you on the Nawtystep channel, and in today's video I'm going to be giving my top 5 from the new Black Label compilation curated by Trampa XL6. I'm in a bit of a tricky situation again this weekend just because I'm going away today, Friday, early on in the day, and I felt like, considering there were two massive projects coming out today, that I had to do something on at least one of them. So yeah, here I am making a top 5. It's not something I've done before, but I think it is something that I can do with compilations going forward. I think it's a good way of analysing them because sometimes it can be quite difficult to kind of give an overall general review of a compilation, considering there are normally so many different artists involved. But yeah, this is the first compilation top 5 review. Gonna try and keep it as smooth and unedited as possible, just because of the time constraint, but also because I think it would be a nice way to kind of talk about these tracks and their kind of placing within this compilation as a whole. And yeah, if people enjoy this kind of approach or style in terms of reviewing a compilation, then do let me know and I will do more of them in the future. But yeah, let's get cracking on with this top 5. But before I do that, just gonna give a couple of special mentions that I really enjoyed. Loads of parts from each of these that I did really like, but I wouldn't say they were quite top 5 material when it comes to talking about my favourite tunes from this LP. And the first song I'm going to talk about is this new Triller and Dr. Rosie collaboration, Inhabited. This is a really cool collaboration, and I love that these guys have worked together. The more I think about it, I'm not that surprised that they did work together. There are some similarities in their styles and approaches, but I don't think there is quite enough going on in the heaviest parts. I can see what they're trying to do, but I'm not sure the sound is fleshed out enough or rounded. So yeah, a decent track and a good idea, and I love once again that these guys are working together, but not quite for me in terms of top 5 material. Next, I'm going to talk about the So Man track Communication. Some really good sounds on here, my word. Really visceral and fresh within that plodding format. Decent flow and rhythm as well. I think it's got a really good kind of momentum going throughout it, but not completely on point in terms of the execution, and particularly on the percussion level. Yeah, some of the drums are a bit muffled and don't quite unleash the track in a way that I feel it should. So yeah, just outside the top 5 for me. And finally, on the special mentions front, I'm going to talk about Rise of the Machines by Graphite. Classically wild and manic from him, pretty gruesome, acidic dubstep, but again, and perhaps even more so with this track than the So Man one, a lot of the percussion really lets it down, unfortunately. Really stops it from being fully unleashed again and kind of realised as a booming, heavy as fuck track. So yeah, so much of it is really, really good. So much about it really works in terms of the kind of sonic design of it. But in terms of it having that desired impact, I'm not sure it quite hits that mark. And so following that, without further ado, my top 5 from Black Label XL6, starting with number 5, Pop the Trunk by Algo and Lux. A collaboration that I can't say I saw coming, but it's a great coming together of different dubstep worlds. I mean, this one for me takes a little while to get going at points, especially in the drops. I think I prefer the progressions to the original releases, and some of the percussion doesn't quite unleash the track enough, but it's so great when you can hear their styles in unison, and that's definitely at many points in the track. That weighty backdrop with the electric synths on top, I think really works, and that's when you're like, yeah, this really is them working together well. The intro is also fantastic, as well as the build following that. Very dramatic and animated, and probably my favourite on the album. There are some good introductions here, but I would have to say that is my favourite on the whole thing. Not a completely mad tune, but definitely worthy of a top 5 place within the context of this LP. At number 4, we have Odd Profit and Tracy with Clean Up. This is another clear coming together of styles, more so probably than the first one, Pop the Trunk, and I think it's cool to see, especially because I think Odd Profit has been following Tracy for a while, been very vocal about his love and adoration for his music, so it's really cool to see them working together now at this point. I love the progressions to each drop in particular. I think there's a really nice force and rhythm to them. That's the point in the track where I think all of the sounds are playing off each other really well, really organic chemistry between all of them going on. And I was worried a little bit about the percussion in Tracy's production from his EP The Antagonist. which I reviewed in my last monthly roundup. You'll probably know my thoughts on it from that. But I feel in this collaboration, Odd Prophet unleashes that somewhat and kind of adds another dimension to that perhaps sort of weakness in his style and approach. So yeah, bringing them together really works in that respect. It's also nice to see a bit more pace to Odd Prophet's style in places, which I think we get from Tracy. So overall, I think their approaches complement one another very effectively. Besides that, I think it's a really full tune, and you can tell that they had a bit of fun putting it together. Not perfect, but really does do a job. At number 3, we have Stuka with Shift, or Stuka, I'm still not sure how you pronounce it, but I've been following him for a fair while now, and it's been great sort of seeing his sound develop, and also it's awesome that he's getting a place on NSD now. This tune is really beefy. I love the dynamic and relationship between the different drop sections on offer. Yeah, I think he provides a lot of variety in that respect. And it just hits a real bass sweet spot, if you know what I mean. Those really thick sounds kind of drilling through your mind. Really fresh in sound too, so kind of having that dynamic again between the deeper sounds and the ones laying on top that are much more visceral and kind of bright, shiny, really works. And also I like how it sticks to its guns and kind of knows what it's good for in terms of the different sounds used. So I imagine he made that first drop and was quite happy with the vibe of it and wanted to retain that for the second one but make a few slight alterations. And again, that really works for it. And yeah, I suppose, well, I think that's all I've got to say on that one really. Just a fat tune without doing all that much on the ideas front. Very effective in how it delivers everything. Yeah, like it. At number 2, we have the curator Tramper with Don't Stop, and I'm not gonna lie, for a few years now, I've really wanted Tramper to kind of change up his style, even slightly, and with this song I am satisfied because he does so here. I love the jumpiness of this track. It's literally his style in a bouncy format, giving it this cheeky sort of gleam, very reminiscent of my favourite song of his actually, Gunfingers. But yeah, the introduction prepares us very well for that, this marching feel, classically daunting and serious from him. I mean, I always feel like he's got that to a T, but combined with those jumpy, bouncy drops, I think he gets that spot on. And I really like how all of the sounds on top of that bouncy backdrop follow along with it, so they're really well cut, placed really well. There's a really good awareness of kind of space and timing and the management of that, and in my opinion, just what you would want from him at this point, retaining his usual style but giving it a bit more of a different outlook. And yeah, I just love that he's done that. And at number 1, my favourite track on Black Label XL6, some of you may be surprised to hear, is Selfdestruct by Ominous. Man, I can't lie, as some of you know, I haven't been the biggest Ominous fan in recent years, but I don't know, he seems to have gone up a level with his ideas this year. They seem way more engaging. His songs have really dragged before, but I don't know, this year, it just seems like he can keep you locked in for the entirety. Before, I feel like he's stuck with particular ideas way too much and for too long, and yeah, that's meant that the songs just get a bit tiresome after a while. But here he just changes things up so well. Really sharp production again, of course, he's always had that, but now he's got that awareness in its development to match, and that is just so good. Marrying those two things together is making his music way more appealing, and I love how all of those pinprick sounds kind of fall over each other. It's just so nice on the ear. It's something that perhaps shouldn't be that nice on the ear, but I think it really works. But yeah, including his drum and bass experiments this year as well, and more on top of that of course, this has been a huge year for him so far, and honestly, I can't wait to see what 2019 has in store from him for the rest of it.
Selfdestruct sequence.
And so there we have it, my top 5 from Black Label XL6, curated by Tramper. I hope you enjoyed it. But what did you guys make of Black Label XL6 overall? Do you have a favourite track from the 10? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review / top 5, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell along the way. Social media accounts are in the description box down below. For some other top 5 videos on the channel, check out the link next to my head somewhere. And lastly, if it's naughty, then you know guys, so be sure, as always, to keep it naughty and stay safe. And I shall see all of you legends in the next one. Peace out.